Warriors, we got the Rockets, we got the Western Conference Finals, and maybe for the NBA title. We'll see. So we're going to be previewing this series a million different ways over the next couple of days, as you would imagine, try and give you some different angles. Here's the first way we want to attack it, and that is to rank the sheer talent in this matchup.
Wow.
So, Jalen, we're going to ask you to pick the 10 best players in this series in order, and we're listening.
Greeny, this is a lot of star power we have going on in the Western Conference Finals. All of these guys deserve to be all NBA performers. At number 6, Klay Thompson, a knockdown shooter who's going to have his moments in this series where he has 30-plus points. But more importantly, on the other end of the floor, he's got to guard James Harden. He's got to guard Chris Paul, a tall task.
I like that.
Number 5, Day-Day, Draymond Green. People underestimate the fact that he does so much for the Golden State Warriors at 6'7". He defines the depth lineup because he can guard guys that are 6'11" and 7 feet, but also lead the team in rebounding and assists. What a unique player in today's game. Number 3, CP. He had 40. I mean,
he wears number 3, but we're up to number 4.
I see what happened.
The numbers seem to have flopped, but we'll just keep moving. We got it.
Good job, Mickey Callaway.
He is number 4.
Chris Paul. He had 40 in the closeout game. Has done a terrific job of actually improving. He can put you on skates. He's an aggressive scorer now. I expect for him in his first conference finals to put on the show. Now we have James Harden, the beard. Here's a guy that has actually flamed out last 2 seasons in the playoffs, which is why Chris Paul was going to team up with the presumptive MVP from this year to see if they could conquer these Golden State Warriors. Next up, we have the chef, Steph Curry, who people underestimate the fact that he now defines the new era. He's not a point guard or a shooting guard. I call him the vanguard. He's so good that they won a championship, won 73 games. He's the league's only unanimous MVP, and the number 1 player on this list left his squad to go play with him, and that is Kevin Durant, who, by the way, is the reigning Finals MVP, a terrific scorer. I don't see Houston having a matchup for him. He's going to be a big-time problem, not only for the Rockets, but like he's been for every team in the league.
Here's what upsets me, Beetle.
Really?
Yes, this is the part of this that upsets me.
I feel peaceful about it.
Is that I really enjoy yelling at Jalen, and I have made it my goal in life to teach him something about basketball.
Yeah.
But you happen to have gotten that exactly right. The ones that are going to be controversial, if there is controversy here, is putting Draymond ahead of Klay, but I actually agree with you on that. I don't know that if you gave every team in the league the option of choosing one or the other, they would probably take Klay. But for the purposes of what they do on this team, I will agree with you on Draymond. And James Harden is going to be the MVP of the league this year, but I agree with you on Steph ahead of him. KD is a no-brainer. I agree with you on Steph ahead of him. Do you?
It is actually interesting that he is probably going to be the MVP and he's only 3rd. But like Greeny said, I don't have enough passion in me to make up to pretend I want to argue with this. I think it's good, and I think I like the Draymond. I don't even know if teams would necessarily take Klay over Draymond. I think Draymond's value is so much bigger than just what the stat sheet tells us at the end of the night. He is so valuable to that team.
Here's what Draymond's going to bring in this series that makes the Warriors unique. The Golden State Warriors, as you broke down, the Houston Rockets do a lot of isolation. Usually they're picking on somebody. They're picking on the tallest guy or the guy that is the weakest defender. You can't do that with Draymond on the floor because he's one of the top defenders in the entire league. So if he gets stuck on Chris Paul, if he gets stuck on James Harden, it's not a sore mismatch. And so he allows it to go. Plus, he's required to be a playmaker on the other side.
If you gave every team in the league the option of starting a team with either James Harden or Steph Curry, who would get picked more?
Steph Curry. No question about it.
I agree.
Not even close, right?
Steph Curry has the signature shot in basketball, a range-finding three-point shot. He's the only guy I've ever seen when they're 80 feet from the hoop and you give him the ball, you're thinking it might go in. He's the first guy I've seen people get to the game 2 hours prior to watch him work out. And so Steph Curry is the person that's defining the era clearly than LeBron James.
How about the backcourt? If I just flat out asked you who has a better backcourt in this series, Harden and CP3, if you just add up the numbers you assign to them, the Rockets actually come out lower, with a lower number, which would mean better. CP3 and Harden together would add up to 7 in this series, and Klay and Steph would add up to 8. But I would take the Warriors backcourt. Which one would you take?
I got to take the Splash Brothers. because this is the time of year where if CP3 and James Harden want to dethrone them, now you got to get a chance to go out and play and prove it.
I'll be interested if we do an immediate reaction after this series is over, if one or two of these guys, and I mean, we're really looking at Harden and CP3 because we've seen the other guys be the best, what they have managed to do in this series.
How about this? I can make a claim that all 6 of those guys on my list will be in the Hall of Fame one day.
I mean,
I'm looking at it right, just very quickly. I mean, I think 4 of them at this point are mortal locks, and we'll wait and see what winds up happening with Draymond and Clay. I don't think it's impossible. I don't think that's crazy. The one thing I can tell you with certainty is that I know that all this basketball is very exciting, but the Players' Championship starts today, and that's the one thing that I think most people sitting